Hi, I'm Mitch with Youth English School. Welcome to this lesson on some useful and common phrases in English communication. Today, we're going to talk about frequently asked questions. Now, this kind of practice will be very helpful to you no matter why you're studying English, whether you're planning to be a student and study abroad, or preparing for a test like IELTS, or if you're just looking to improve your spoken English. Now, all this week, I'm telling jokes at the beginning of my lessons, so I'm going to tell you a couple of jokes, okay? Do you know any jokes in English? Jokes are a kind of a fun way to learn and practice English. These are punchline jokes, jokes where I'll ask you a question, and then there's one quick answer that matches the question. Okay? Are you ready? Why did the man throw his watch out the window? Why did the man throw his watch out the window? He wanted to see time fly. All right, that's a joke. Do you get it? Do you understand? Do you get it? So a joke, it's something that you might like or might not like. It's up to you. That's an opinion, right? Okay, let's do one more. Why did the man throw the water out of the window? Why did the man throw the water out of the window? He wanted to see the waterfall. He wanted to see the waterfall. All right, so that's the end of my jokes for today's lesson. Okay, let's move on and talk about frequently asked questions. What does that mean, frequently? Frequently. Well, it means a lot. These kinds of questions are questions that we ask all the time. They're very frequent. They're very common types of questions. They're great questions to ask when you meet someone for the first time, when you meet a stranger, for example. Maybe you can ask some of these types of questions. We very often call these what questions, what or W questions, right? What, where, when, who, why, and how. Very good for just general friendly conversation. Question first, what do you do? I'm a film director. Where are you from? Italy. Italy. What do you do? I'm a film director. What do you do? I'm a teacher. What do you do? What are you doing at the moment? What are you doing at the moment? Well, I'm not making a film. I'm teaching a lesson on video. What are you doing at the moment? You are watching or listening or studying. Remember to match the grammar there, right? That's an ing question. What are you doing? I'm studying. I'm watching Mitch on my computer, right? These are personal questions that we ask. As I said, very common when we meet people for the first time. Maybe you meet a student or a colleague, a co-worker. Are you married? No, I'm single. How old are you? I can tell you I'm not 27. Would you like to guess how old your teacher is today? I'm 52. I was born in 1959, so I'm 52 years old today. What's your address? What's your phone number? What's your address? Remember to match there. What is your address? Whenever you can, practice the contraction. It's more natural for spoken English, more informal, and the kind of language that you want to shoot for, right? Because this is very, informal, casual, friendly type conversational English, right? Here are some everyday questions you can use. Very common, frequently asked and frequently used. Definitely very beginner English, right? Very beginner English. If you find it very simple, very easy, you can just practice maybe some intonation. How are you? How are you? For example, if I ask you, how are you? And you could say, how are you, right? How's it going? Fine, thanks. Fine, thanks. Very, very common, right? Not bad. How about you? How about you? What are you doing this evening? What are you doing this evening? What are you doing this evening? So you could practice putting the stress there, right? The intonation, and practice your pronunciation if this is kind of simple. Because it is very basic, very beginner type English, right? Nothing special. Nothing special. That means that you're not really doing anything that's very exciting. Nothing special. Okay. What's the matter? Meaning, is there a problem? Is there anything wrong? Nothing. Why? Why are you asking? Do you think there's a problem? Have you got the time? Have you got the time? Which means, do you have the time? Can you tell me the time? Yeah, it's 3:05. Again, very low-level English here, right? How much is that necklace? How much is that necklace? It's 35 pounds, 99. I have to be totally honest with you. I don't know how to say that in pounds. Because, I'm American. So I would say it's $35.99. But honestly, I'm forgetting how to say that in British money. It's 35 pound, 99 quid? No, quid's the same as a pound. I don't know. So I don't know everything about British English. That's the kind of thing I have to remember, and I've forgotten. What sort of cheese do you like? What kind of cheese do you like? We can use sort and kind. Either one is okay. I like most cheese, especially hard cheese. Hard cheese. Well, I love cheese. I'm from the West and I'm an American, and cheese is a big part of my culture. But also here in Hanoi and Vietnam, you can get cheese almost at any shop or supermarket. It's also very popular here. There are different kinds of cheese, hard cheese, different types of cheese. Now, this is where you can build your vocabulary when you're studying and learning and practicing English. You can learn different types of cheese. I like most cheese, like cheddar, especially hard cheese like cheddar, mozzarella, provolone. That's one way you can also kind of expand these answers to practice your English if you're finding this lesson very simple. How was the party? How was the party? So an example of using how, maybe the same as what was the party like? To a question that is asking you to describe the party or talk about the party. What happened? Excuse me. Okay, now this page is looking at place and distance. Place and distance, right? I live in Italy. Whereabouts? I live in Italy. Whereabouts? That means more exactly in Italy do you live, right? Well, I'm from California. You could ask me whereabouts in California. Well, I'm from Southern California, a city called San Diego, about 2 hours south of Los Angeles. So that would give you a more exact location, right? This is a location question. How far is it? About 10 miles. How far is California? A lot of miles, many, many miles. But if you're, asking for directions, for example, or if someone asks you, where do you live in Hanoi? If you are at work or school, you could say, about 10 miles. Now, of course, this is going to be American English here. In England and other countries, they will use the metric system there, right? I just lost my cap. The metric system. About 10 kilometers, and I'm pretty sure we use that here in Hanoi. How do I get to the railway station? Sorry, I don't know. Or you could give directions, and I could ask, how far is it? And you could tell me, oh, it's about 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers. Well, it's not far, a couple kilometers away. Turning the page, let's take a look at our next page here. These are time questions. How long have you been here? How long have you been here? This depends on the situation. If I ask you, how long have you been here? Well, it might mean, how long have you been in Hanoi? How long have you been here in the building? Here in the restaurant? It really depends on the situation. This person has been here 4 days. So maybe this person is visiting somewhere or in the hospital, and they're asking, how long have you been here in this hospital? 4 days. How long are you staying? How long are you staying here for? How long are you here for? Again, 2 different ways to ask the same question. 2 weeks. I'm here for 2 weeks. I'm staying for 2 weeks. Let's go to the next slide. How much longer are you staying? So these are all about the length of time that people will stay somewhere. How much longer are you staying? More of a future thing. From now, how much longer are you staying? 10 days. Is this the first time you've been to Dublin? Sounds to me like it's more of a tourist, someone who's visiting a place. How long have you been to Dublin? Yes, it is. It's the first time, for a positive response there. Okay? All right, it's time to look at our exercises for this lesson. You know the drill, right? You know the drill. That means in this video lesson, I will go through 1 or 2 answers with you and then give you a chance at home or wherever you are to look at the rest of the questions and to do the exercises on your own. Then I'll come back and we'll check them together, all right? Complete each dialogue with a suitable word, a word that matches or fits. Complete each dialogue. A dialogue is when 2 or more people are speaking. The sentences, the lines that they speak, sort of like a movie, right? What do you do? What do you do? I make TV programs. What do you do? Well, I'm a teacher. What do you do? Are you... For these answers, it's a good idea to look at the answer itself, right? The question is really in the answer. Are you not married? The opposite. Because it's a negative. No, I'm married actually. So the answer is, are you? Yeah. Single. Now, I have to say I have terrible writing, and at this angle, it's a little difficult, or very difficult for me to write well. So I apologize for the handwriting, my handwriting, on the pages, okay? Take a look at number 3 through 8, and I'll be right back to go over the answers with you. And I'm back in the frame. Hopefully I wasn't in the frame before. Give you a chance to take a look at these exercises without the distraction of maybe seeing me partially in the frame. Sorry if I was. Okay, let's take a look at these together. Number 3. What are you doing this evening? What are you doing this evening? Nothing much. Why? Nothing much. Why? You could also say special. That's right. Nothing special. Why? How do I... Oh, next dialogue, right? Let's go to number 4. How do I to the tourist information office from here? How do I to the tourist information office from here? Well, how do I get? Okay? How do I get there? How do I get to something, right? I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how to go there, how to get there. Number 5, was the film like? If you have what, that is the correct answer. What was the film like? Brilliant. Brilliant. What does that mean? Well, it means fantastic. It means they really, really like that film or that movie. Number 6, they've been in the flat for a year now. Yeah. And how much are they planning to stay? How much longer? How much longer are they planning to stay? Number 7, was the lecture. How was the lecture? How was the lecture? Very interesting. How was the video lesson? Very interesting. I hope you're saying very interesting. And number 8, what of car does he drive? What of car does he drive? What kind? Sort is also a perfectly good answer here. What sort of car does he drive? But in American English, I think we tend to say kind more than sort, and in England, maybe sort more than kind, generally speaking. I don't know. I have no idea. Here are some answers, and what could be the question? This is a very common type of practice exercise when you're learning English. You will look at the answer first and then think about the question. What is the question? What could the question be? I'm a doctor. What do you do? You know, you could also ask, what's your job here? What's your job? I'm a teacher. What do you do? And what's your job are the same thing, the same meaning in English. Yes, it's almost 4 o'clock. Yes, it's almost 4 o'clock. What's the question? What's the question? Oh, no, have you got the time? Have you got the time, or do you have the time? Yes, it's almost 4 o'clock. Okay, let's have you try C through I, and I'll be right back to give you the answers. Okay, I'm 23 next month. What's the question? Yes. How old are you? How old are you? You could also ask, what's your age? But that's a little formal, right? Remember, we're looking for natural, informal, spoken English. It's about 5 kilometers. It's about 5 kilometers. How far is it? Yes, very good. How far is it? How far is it? It's about 5 kilometers. The answer, usually French or Italian, but occasionally Chinese food. What kind of food do you eat? What kind of food do you eat? What sort of food do you usually eat? Direct answer, right? Answer. Sorry, I don't know. I'm a stranger here myself. Sorry, I don't know. I'm a stranger here myself. So, this is a question about directions, right? And when we ask for directions, it's very polite, very common to say, excuse me. Hi, excuse me. And then you ask for directions here. How do I get to? How do I get to the train station? Or, excuse me, do you know where the train station is? Both of those answers is okay. And G, it's very large. There are 6 bedrooms and the kitchen is fabulous. What do you think? What's the question? Well, we're asking, what's it like? What's it like? Now, if you're using British English, you're going to say flat. Flat, but I don't really use flat. I'm an American, so I use apartment. That's right. Now, my apartment doesn't have 6 bedrooms. That's a very large, flatter apartment, 6 bedrooms. The next one, the answer is, I have no plans at all. I'll probably watch TV. The question is a what question? What are you doing this evening? What are you doing this evening? And the last one, we arrived last Sunday. We arrived last Sunday. Now, this kind of question, you can ask a couple of ways. How long have you been here? How long have you been here? We arrived last Sunday. Or, when did you arrive? That's okay. When did you arrive? Just be careful if you get a question like, when did you arrive? This is sort of matching the grammar, or actually using the question in the answer, and that is something you want to maybe not do so much. It's not as natural. We tend to not really repeat the questions in the answer. So, how long have you been here? We arrived last Sunday. When did you get here? We arrived last Sunday. Okay, this is the last slide in this lesson. We have one more to go. I'll give you a chance to do some of these on your own. Let's look at the first one, the example that's done for you. How long are you staying? How long are you staying here for, right? How long are you staying here for? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Look at number 2 through 6 and come up with some answers. I'll be right back to go over the answers with you. Right. So again, how long are you here for? Another way to ask that question, how long are you staying? How long are you staying? You could also make that full sentence, as I mentioned. How long are you staying? Here for would be okay. How are you? How are you? How are you? The underlined word, are you? How's it going, right? Now, if you say fine and you, that's a very common type of an answer. It depends on who you're speaking to. If you're good friends with someone or very familiar with someone, you might give, more of a complete answer there. Fine is very general. I'm okay. And you? How's it going? This is where you want to practice different ways of saying the same thing, right? How are you and how's it going has the same meaning, but this is typically a phrase that someone with a little more English will use than a beginner, someone who's just starting to learn English. How's it going? Very conversational, very natural speech that native speakers use all the time. Number 3, where exactly do you live in Italy? Where exactly do you live in Italy? What's the answer? Whereabouts? Whereabouts do you live in Italy? This is an example of a vocabulary word that would be for someone with typically more English. Whereabouts? Whereabouts do you live? This might be something that, for example, on the IELTS exam, someone who uses whereabouts will have a higher band score because it's less common language. But this is okay. Where exactly do you live? How's your steak? Oh, it's delicious. How's your steak? What's your steak like? What's it like? How's your steak? Oh, it's delicious. Is this your first visit to Spain? Is this your first visit to Spain? Is this the first time you've been to Spain? Is this the first time? Now, we're using a different and more advanced grammar structure here. Is this the first time you've been to Spain? You have been to. This is one way that you can answer this question, right? Or you can make this question or ask this question. This is typically, right, for more of a beginner student or elementary student, because we're using present simple grammar there, right? And the last one, last but not least, what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the matter? So problem and matter are synonyms right there. They kind of have the same or similar meaning. What's the matter? What's the problem? And you say nothing. Absolutely nothing is the problem. All right, so what did we learn today? Well, we looked at some useful and common phrases in English communication. These kinds of words you can use in everyday English as you practice your English. I hope that you enjoyed the lesson and that you were able to practice and improve your English with me today. Remember to check out the quiz at the end of this video. My name's Mitch with Youth English School. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.